At a high level, the architecture for this application looks like this graphic. Here is your server. The server is responsible for storing user data. The server will be written in Node.js, and your Node.js code will store data like what products are for sale and what products are in a user's cart in MongoDB. Since MongoDB is at the base of the mean stack, you'll start by working with MongoDB and work your way up the stack. Now, MongoDB is a powerful database that enables you to store documents, which are roughly equivalent to a JavaScript object or a Java linked hash map, rather than rows and columns like a traditional SQL database. For the purposes of this course, you'll use MongoDB to store and query for JavaScript object notation, or JSON for short. To download MongoDB, go to mongodb.org/downloads and download version 3.0.x for your platform of choice, in this case Mac OS X. So there are numerous ways to install MongoDB, such as through Ubuntu's package manager or Homebrew for Mac. I would strongly recommend against using Homebrew for the purposes of this course, as well as using it in general. So the easiest way to install MongoDB on Linux and Mac is to copy and paste this link, open up a terminal window and go to your downloads directory, and then download MongoDB using wget from the URL you just copy and pasted. Now that you've downloaded the MongoDB binaries, you should extract the archive using tar-zxvf. The tar command has now created this MongoDB-osx-3.0.6 directory that contains all of these different MongoDB executables. The ones that you're concerned about in this course are MongoD, which is the MongoDB core server, and Mongo, which is the MongoDB shell that's useful for talking to the MongoD server. So now that you've extracted the MongoDB binaries, you're going to use the Linux symlink command to create a symlink for the MongoD and Mongo programs in a directory that's in your path environment variable. Now for Linux and Mac users, user local bin should be in your path by default, so let's just use that. So with this command, you're creating a symlink to this MongoDB/bin/MongoD program in the user local bin MongoD path. So once you do that, you should be able to do MongoD -- version, and you see you got MongoDB version 3.0.6. Now you need to do the same command, but for the Mongo shell as well. And now you should be able to run Mongo -- version as well. So once you have MongoDB, you now need to run this MongoD program, which is the MongoDB core server. Now to start MongoD successfully, you need to specify the DB path option. This is the directory where MongoD will store your data. Now you can start MongoD as an Ubuntu service, or on non-Windows operating systems, run it in the background using the -- fork option. However, for development work, it's handy to run MongoD in a shell window. This enables you to start and stop MongoD with ease, as well as see the MongoD logs. So let's start MongoD. Let's specify the DB path ~data DB. Now note that the DB path needs to exist before you run MongoD. So you need to create this directory if you haven't already. So now you can start MongoD. You see waiting for connections on port 27017, which is the default port that MongoDB listens on. Everything is good, and you can stop MongoDB and then start it again as well. Now once you start MongoD, you can also start the Mongo shell. This brings up a shell that enables you to do basic experimentation with MongoDB. Now MongoDB stores objects as BSON, which is short for binary JSON. BSON is a strict superset of JSON. Any object that you can represent using JavaScript object notation, you can store in MongoDB. For instance, you can insert a single document. So this document has a key hello and a value world. You can insert it, and then you can query it for it back. Now queries in the MongoDB shell are expressed as JSON objects. So for instance, when you specify key hello and value world, MongoDB will return all documents that have the key hello equal to world. Now MongoDB stores documents in separate collections. So in this example, the db.test.insert function tells MongoDB to insert the documents into the collection named test. And then db.test.find1 tells MongoDB to search for documents in the collection named test. Now each collection also belongs to a MongoDB database. If you're familiar with SQL databases, MongoDB databases are pretty analogous to MySQL databases. Each collection belongs to a database, and collection names are unique within a single database. So in the current example, you can show the current database name by typing DB, and you can see the current database is the test database. The test database is the one that MongoDB uses by default. MongoDB has a great deal of advanced functionality, including horizontal scalability, advanced durability features, different storage engines, and others. If you're interested in learning more about MongoDB, you can check out the MongoDB University courses M101 JS and M102.